Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this from XRP Captain. Expert says BlackRock clearly wants an XRP ETF, but issues a warning to investors. Now, Black Swan Capitalist said this: investors should not automatically equate an XRP ETF with broader access to utility-driven crypto adoption. He argued that while the prospect of an ETF might appear to validate XRP in the eyes of Wall Street, it strips the asset of its inherent functionalities. When held in its native form, market participants can use XRP for real-time remittances, liquidity provisioning, staking, and self-custody. However, an ETF version offers exposure only to price movement without granting access to these core utilities. It's like buying paper XRP. Nonetheless, he is confident that BlackRock would express interest in an XRP ETF, but went on to warn that institutions could manipulate ETFs, suggesting that control over the asset changes significantly from individual investors to powerful financial institutions. It's the same way that a lot of Bitcoin maxis even looked at Bitcoin as being manipulated by BlackRock. What he's warning is that the same can happen here with XRP. And I agree with that. I was never really a fan of an XRP ETF. The only reason I got behind it is because I know it's going to drive the price of XRP up. Now, a lot of institutions might early on get exposure to XRP, but later those same institutions are going to be holding the actual asset because they could utilize it for cross-border payments, liquidity management, and they're not going to be buying XRP and just selling when the price goes up. Institutions that are going to be using it for its utility will lock it away for long periods of time. But that's not going to happen through the ETFs. I still think a massive wave of liquidity will flow into XRP because of the ETFs. But I honestly would rather see these institutions buy the actual asset. This comes from The Light Shines in the Darkness. Integration of crystals, the lithium, into the XRP ledger. XRP ledger becomes more secure in a quantum computing world. This is going to become a very big deal over time. If you're holding something that isn't quantum proof, it's going to be high risk as the rise of quantum computing really starts to pick up momentum. It's nice to see that they're looking at this already around the XRP ledger. Even David Schwartz said the XRP ledger could become quantum proof when the time comes. Ripple CTO David Schwartz supports allegation that regional banks are obstructing stablecoin legislation. There's a discussion going on among crypto enthusiasts, with the topic being that someone is adamant about tanking the stablecoin legislation. The main suggested culprits are regional U.S. banks, and Ripple CTO David Schwartz says, "That's what I'm hearing." I agree with that, and I think Elizabeth Warren is proof of that, because Elizabeth Warren doesn't want anything around digital assets to get approved, not even the stablecoin bill, because she works for the big banks. Once a stablecoin bill gets approved, it's going to take a lot of power away from these big banks. And even O'Leary talked about that. I'll play you the clip in a minute. Ripple's SVP of stablecoins just said, "We're talking to some interesting sovereign wealth funds." Now, Ripple knows where a stablecoin will lead the company. It will also help XRP investors though, because even though RLUSD is a stablecoin and it's going to open up a lot of doors, a lot of that movement's going to happen over the XRP ledger. And XRP can move RLUSD anywhere in the world. I think XRP and RLUSD are going to complement each other, because even those doors that get opened through RLUSD, later they'll start investing or holding XRP for on-demand liquidity and cross-border payments. But Representative Maxine Waters could have got this done 2.5 years ago. Take a listen to this.
2.5 years ago, Maxine Waters was the chair. And the first question she asked me was, do we need stablecoin legislation? Can we get this done? And I said, yes. I mean, like, we need this. It should have happened 2.5 years ago. It's easy. Every regulator in the world globally has clear rules of the road that are very similar to what we will ultimately have in a combined stablecoin bill in the U.S. Congress. So I think that needs to happen. And then let's work on market structure.
Like I said, this is something that should have been worked on a while ago, but they were too involved with cracking down on crypto over the past 2.5 years. And this bill should have got done under Biden. The U.S. should already have this. Other countries already have this in place. And other countries are still having the upper hand on the United States as far as digital assets, stable coins, and crypto. Kevin O'Leary says crypto will be the 12th sector of the economy, competes with 60-year-old banking sector. Take a listen.
Crypto will be the 12th sector of the economy within 5 years because it's so productive to the rest of the sectors, just in digital payments. Just think about what happened when Robinhood bought WonderFi. You can now transfer currency right across the border without using a bank. That's $1 trillion industry and it's ancient. It's 60-year-old technology and really high fees. You now, if you have a wallet in Canada, you have a wallet in the US, you just do a transaction of a stablecoin. That's brilliant.
Now you see why the banks don't like stable coins, because it cuts them out completely. All you need is a wallet. You no longer need a bank account at all. You don't need it. And we are going to become our own banks as we push forward. Think about getting passive income on your XRP and never having to use your local bank. Think about borrowing against your XRP without going to the bank. Mortgages are going to come to the XRP ledger. Once these institutions really get involved in this space, once regulations are in place, we're going to see bank after bank failure happen unless they get involved and get up to date with today's technology. If they don't get involved with crypto, the banks are done. If your bank isn't getting involved with crypto, your bank is going to be done over the next year or two. It's happening so quick now. This overlap makes XRP Ledger naturally compatible with SWIFT. And I thought this was a great article as well. Crypto researcher Smoke has drawn attention to an often overlooked technical alignment between the XRP Ledger and the SWIFT financial messaging network. In a recent tweet, Smoke emphasized the shared use of standard internet protocols by the two systems, stating, SwiftNet runs on standard internet HTTP protocols. The XRP Ledger connects to applications via HTTP. The overlap makes XRP Ledger naturally compatible with SWIFT infrastructure. And that right there tells you this happened by design. This did not happen by accident. In other words, Ripple created it that way. When they created the XRP Ledger, they already knew what they were going after. They were going after replacing SWIFT. Now, as we push forward, you already know a lot of people are very unhappy with SWIFT. Even their customers are not happy customers. They're already looking for an alternative. Ripple has the alternative. XRP makes the alternative even better. That's why ISO is going to be a very big deal. And for a while, you're going to see RippleNet complement Swift. It's going to improve a lot of things on the back end for Swift. But over time, it's just going to replace Swift anyway. That's the final call for Swift, is once customer after customer starts jumping on board with RippleNet and XRP. This is also very big. It looks like Ripple is now getting involved with agricultural finance on the XRP ledger. So here's what they're going after. The agricultural sector in Colombia faces significant challenges, with over 86% of smallholder farms operating informally without credit histories or transaction records. This lack of financial documentation creates substantial barriers to sustainability and financial inclusion, banking the unbanked. Currently, 79% of the rural population lacks access to credit lines, resulting in smallholder farms earning only 70% of the minimum living wage and perpetuating cycles of poverty. Buyers of agriculture products struggle to verify sustainability claims, an increasingly important consideration for end consumers. Industry data suggests that up to 10% of the global food system is affected by food fraud, accounting for approximately $50 billion annually. So leveraging the XRP ledger for agricultural transformation. Blockchain traceability on the XRP ledger. The solution traces products from planting to harvesting, providing verifiable sustainability data via QR codes. They were doing this on Hedera as well, with clothes for a couple of years now. It's a very big deal. You could just scan the QR code and trace it all the way back to where that product was made. And you could trace it through the entire supply chain. Market linkage. By connecting farmers directly with input suppliers and produce buyers through the XRP ledger-powered platform, the project stabilizes income and fosters stronger relationships across the supply chain. Farm now, pay later. WEIE has already used the traceability data gathered through this pilot program to offer an FNPL option, allowing farmers to gain immediate access to agricultural inputs without upfront cost. This enables them to purchase the necessary supplies when planting crops and defer payment until after harvest. This is life-changing for these farmers. You know, we take a lot of things for granted. You know, access to a checking account. Some people don't even have that option. And that's where crypto comes in. Crypto is leveling the playing field globally. And it's a very big deal for a lot of people because now they can compete on a much bigger scale. You know, it's going to give access to people that have been looking for access for years and they haven't got it. It's not like the traditional system is reaching out to these people. No, it takes blockchain companies to reach out to these people, open up options for these people. That's what I love about crypto. It is going to change so many lives for years to come. Not only the people's lives around the world, but the investors' lives as well. Because we are investors and our lives are about to change forever. Once XRP starts hitting those high price points, a lot of people are going to be opening businesses, buying their first house, getting passive income, quitting their day job. And then beyond that, it's going to change a lot of lives in other countries and in other ways, like you see right here. And I got to touch on something real quick. I've been meaning to change the speed on the videos I play inside my videos, and I haven't worked it out yet. I'm still working on it. I just wanted to give you all a heads up. But like I always tell you, until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.